Hey everyone, it's me, Woo. Um, I'm sorry I abandoned the week of peace, but lack of views and lack of support for some certain videos kind of like got to me or whatever. Shouldn't be so sensitive about it, but kind of made me reevaluate myself as a YouTuber and what I should be doing or what I shouldn't be doing. But that's besides the point. I'm here. I'm ready. I think I'm ready to start the real YouTube grind of building an audience. And I'm gonna start it off with revisiting an old, I'm gonna say target here, an old target of mine, Derrick Jaxn. And I've left him alone for about a year, and he has gotten no better. And he's making really damaging videos and misleading women, just like always. Now in this video that I'm about to watch, men are not eradication plans for poverty for women, he starts to talk about financial abuse for men or the financial side of a relationship, and he's just so ass.
And it says, I find it very abusive to put pressure on men to provide us with a life we cannot provide for ourselves as women. As much as women are not rehabilitation centers for badly raised men, men are not poverty eradication plans for lazy women.
I know what you're thinking. Hey, that's the video. Because there's nothing but facts in that tweet. But you have to remember who Derrick Jaxn is as a person. He cannot just say, yeah, women who do that are wrong. He can't just say, let's try to be better on the financial side and how we treat the men that women come into contact with. He can't just say that. Because that's not his demographic. He will get canceled quicker than a TV show that shows a dick. And I'm talking about a TV show on PBS, he will get canceled so quick. So what you start to see in videos like this is where he changes the narrative and changes the entire point of the tweet just so he can match his demographic. It's just so he can pander a little more.
You coming into somebody else's life, you need to be coming in as an asset, not a liability. You don't need to be a setback. I don't care how fine you is or whatever. You need to have something to contribute. And that I totally agree with. But I do think it's a reach to say, first off, that it's abuse. We're not going to just get in the habit of using the term abuse, loosely, because it's a very real thing with very.
Now, what he means here is that the term abuse is only applied loosely when it's applied to a man. In his eyes, women are the only people who can be abused. And I know you're thinking, oh, Tyreek, you're putting words in his mouth. I'm not putting any words in his mouth, because that's how he constantly operates and constantly carries himself, is that men are just objects for women's pleasure and women's use. That's how he sees it. And so by him saying that term abuse is being used loosely, there are people who bust their ass not even for themselves, but for their significant others to have what they need. And when you're working at the detriment of yourself for the benefit of another, that is abuse, because that person does not care about you. I mean, if they're asking you to do that, they don't. But if you're doing that of your own will, stop. Because those same women will scream about the importance of mental health and how they want their men to be taken care of. But as long as it's benefiting them, they don't care. And that's the kind of woman that watches Derrick Jaxn. If you catch a bitch watching a Derrick Jaxn video, do not date her, because she does not care about you. She cares about herself.
Real consequences. And then also, I think it's a false equivalence to compare the two. When we're talking about the whole badly raised men looking to women to be rehabilitation centers, we're talking about men, people, period, that need professional help.
Now, when we're talking equivalence here, in the term of this tweet, we're talking equivalence in action and not severity. See, because a person who is broken, a man who is broken, who leans on a woman to repair him, is damaging on an emotional scale, but it can be just as damaging on the financial scale when a woman who does nothing expects a man to take care of all her needs. That's what it means, you're relying on one person for everything. You can't do that. You have to have some source of income for yourself, or some source of, emotional stability for yourself. That cannot all come from your partner. That is abusive. That is damaging to your relationship. And that's what people have to realize here. And that's what he has to realize here.
When we're talking about a guy who's trying to break some bread or spend some bread, or a woman pressuring a guy, typically, first off, that doesn't work unless he has an ego problem.
Yeah, there are dudes out there who just go, man, you know what? I'm gonna spend all this money right now. Show her I'm a big spender, so she fucking with a baller. But there are also women who, put financial pressure on the person they're talking to by saying, so is you gonna buy me this or what? Or you buy me this or you don't get this and this. And usually the this and this is kind of something sexual. And a lot of times it kind of creates this dynamic of, I spend this money, you have sex with me. That's kind of how it works. And that's what I'm going to talk about in the video later, why you may not want a man who pays for everything. Because sometimes it can create a dynamic of money equals sex.
So there is no emotional manipulation, no trickery, or any kind of force that we would associate with abuse. We're talking about a guy.
But see here, he used a very specific situation to basically say, see, because of this very specific situation right here, there's no way that women put any pressure on a man to give them anything. Because there's men who volunteer, but there are men who don't. You know what I'm saying? He refuses to see any other side of the argument, but other than, women never do that. Women are always perfect. Women didn't do anything in the first place. Women are perfect little angels. That is not the case. That is not the case. Because the example he gave was of a man who spent on purpose because he had an ego problem. But in reality, there are men who don't spend anything or don't spend on purpose, who don't spend on purpose, and women kind of use their bodies to, manipulate them out of their cash. There are a lot of women who use their sexuality and use their vagina as weapons of like manipulation to say, hey, you get me this and I give you the coochie. And that's really where the abuse comes in, because it's abusive to expect that out of any person. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, guys out here are offering to change women's lives and be a woman's blessing and, to spun a bag on her and go to the strip club and they trying to pay for pussy. Guys are not volunteering to abuse themselves. So no.
Oh, see, sir, that is where you are wrong, because we are just coming out on the tail end of a society that says unless your man can give you anything and exactly everything that you want, he is not a man. He is lesser than. And so there are men who are like signing up for this abuse of, hey, I'll provide you anything. I'll get you anything at the detriment of myself. There are people who sell drugs not because they need to, but because they're trying to make extra income and impress girls. Men put themselves in a very dangerous situation on the back of, I'm going to impress this girl, more than any other demographic for like impressing. It's almost like we're animals in the wild, and what our mating dance for choice is money. And if you don't have money, you don't have anything in certain women's eyes. You have to find someone who works past that.
Whole narrative of, if a woman deals with a guy who has some money and she doesn't have money, then she's coming up. It is not a come up for a woman who's broke. I don't care how broke she is, to deal with a guy who has some money. I see it all.
Then what is it called then? Please tell me, what is it called? Because this isn't a narrative. This is how women kind of talk about it. How many times have you heard two women get together or two girls get together and they'll be like, oh, I'm talking to this new man. He drive this, he drive that. He got this, he got this. And the next woman to go, oh, he got money. Oh, you got you a rich nigga. I told myself I wasn't going to get upset so I could keep my point concise here. And what I'm trying to say is that what he's saying is completely the narrative. Is that if you don't have anything, you can flaunt. You can just dress up well, and you can end up finding a man. Look at the bitches that shop on Fashion Nova. You spend $10 for a dress and land a nigga who spent $200 for the outfit. You know what I'm saying? It makes no sense.
The only way that a woman comes up from dealing with a guy who got money is if the dude teaches her how to get money herself. Not only teaches her, but invest in her own business. So together, or her going on by herself, she's better because she dealt with that guy, which I think.
Now, I'm gonna go and say that actually I kind of agree with him here. Not on the come up part, because that part was stupid, but the part of really what should be considered a come up is if you learn from the person that you were with. And I kind of agree with that, because even with my own girlfriend and in my own relationship, I make sure I teach her so much, because I told her, I was like, I love you, And my love for you wants you to succeed even outside of us. If anything happens to us, or anything even happens to me, if I die or we break up, I want to know that you are well taken care of in yourself, that you can take care of yourself and you won't hop into an abusive relationship where another person has all the power, because you'll have power in yourself. I tell her that all the time, and I constantly teach her things so she can take care of herself when I'm not around. It makes her a better person.
Out the hood, or taking women who don't have any kind of business savvy, giving them businesses, giving them business knowledge and skills and tools to go on and flourish with the next man? Or do you see women?
Yeah, I see that a lot. I see that a lot. I see that a fucking lot.
Who have their shit together, taking a dude out the hood who was going the wrong path in life, going to be dead or locked up or something like that, teaching him how to be professional, getting him into a network, plugging him in, and teach him how to, write a resume, all of that stuff, and then he go on and take his upgraded ass on to the next woman and forget about her. Which one do y'all?
No, I've never seen that. I've never seen that shit before. Because a lot of women who have something, or women who are rich, or women who are making, who are getting to their check or getting to their bag, or however we're going to say it here, they don't look a broke man's way. They don't want any person they have to take care of. See, men look at it as, oh, she's a girl, that's fine, I'll take care of her, that's cool, it's whatever. But women look at it as, if you can't take care of, if you're a man and you can't take care of yourself, then why should I take care of you? So no, I don't see any person any woman that goes, oh, he don't got nothing, but I'm gonna make sure he will have something. I'm gonna teach him. No, they probably try to fix him emotionally, but they will not try to fix you financially. Even 21 Savage said that a rich woman won't look a broke man's way. And if anyone knows what it feels like to be rich and broke, it's 21 fucking Savage.
If you come into somebody's life, and even if they are strong in the place that you're weak, make sure you're complimenting them in some kind of way that you add value. It may not be synonymous value, but make sure it's at least equivalent value. And I just think it's not the same, though, because when you're talking about putting your woman on game,
But that's not what we're talking about. No one was talking about that. This isn't about putting your woman on game. This is about women perpetuating financial abuse on a man. That's not what this is talking about.
Should be wanting to do that anyway, because it don't cost you shit. It don't hurt you. It don't set you back. It don't take away from you. It's either going to add to what you got, or she's going to be better because she came in your life, and everybody should be better because they came in your life.
I sort of agree with him here as well. When someone comes into your life, make them better. Take care of everyone in your section, everyone in your circle. Everyone should be eating, not off of you, but because of you. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you're putting everyone on, or making sure that they get better as people when they're in your stead. Now, that's basically the end of that video. Now, let me explain to you why you should not want a man to pay for everything when it comes to your relationship. Because it creates a dynamic of, well, she doesn't do anything. I do everything. So when I ask her to fuck me, she should fuck me. You would think it doesn't create no dynamic like that. It kind of does, because a lot of men who constantly put themselves out there like that financially, they don't do it with the best intention. They do it with the intention of, I spend this money, now she has sex with me. She's impressed with this money, so that's gonna make her wet. That's kind of the place that a lot of men come from when we're talking about spending money on the women that they date, or like just taking all financial brunt. Anytime someone is taking all the financial brunt and you cannot provide for yourself, you kind of put yourself in the place to be financially abused, because now it's like they can set the standard of whatever they say. And if you don't provide them with what they want, which is usually sex, they can just deny you the things that you need or the things that you want, because the financial side is in their court. You shouldn't want a man that way. 50-50 kind of protects both parties from having to worry about things like that. So really, even though it might be hard to go out here and provide for yourself, just do it, because there's no better way, to feel better about yourself or to feel good about what you do. But, that's me off the soapbox. Please take care of everyone around you, and I'll see y'all later.
And I'm not seeing anyone right now. Guys are jerks.
God, I know, right? Guys are the worst.